Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Devin. I garden here in Zone 7B, Maryland. Welcome to my garden. Things are really beginning to pop around here. We are at the last day of July. Today is July 31st, so tomorrow will be the beginning of August. I have my crepe myrtle in full bloom right now and some black-eyed Susans blooming and just lots of summer colors showing off right now. And I want to take you around and show you what is going on here in my garden. We are supposed to get some heavy rains later on today to finally break this heat wave. It is so thick outside, so humid. So I'm definitely looking forward to a welcome relief from the hot temperatures. I wanted to tour you around before those heavy rains come because we all know that the heavy rains can sometimes do a number on our gardens. Oftentimes things look very floppy after that much rain. So the sun might be shining a little bright this morning. It is a little bit after 9 o'clock. I was unable to get out here any earlier. So I do apologize if the lighting is a little bit harsh, but I do want to just take you around. I have been gone for almost 2 weeks. We had a really nice vacation. We went to Costa Rica. We were there with my dad and that whole side of my family. We were there for 6 days. It was beautiful. We went to the volcano part of the rainforest, the Arenal volcano area. That's where we were. It was absolutely gorgeous. And then right after that, we were home for a day and went out to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for a graduation party for my son. That's where we moved from and where we lived previously. My husband's family is out there. So that was so nice to be able to catch up with a bunch of people who we haven't seen in a while. And then next week, we really start getting ready to transition my son to college, my first child going away to college. So in a week, we will be moving him into school. He will be down at Liberty University in Virginia. So lots going on, not a whole lot of time to work in the garden, but I did do some maintenance cleanup, like cutting back and staking and things like that. So some things, you know, aren't going to look like maybe previous years where I've had a lot of time to just pour into the garden and kind of move things around and fiddle with things a lot. It's just kind of going to be as is, but I think that there is a lot of pretty things to show you, and I'm going to take you out front too today because there are a lot of pretty things blooming out front right now. So enough talking, let's get right into it. Another cool thing that happened was while I was gone in Costa Rica, my mom found my microphone. So I also have a microphone back today. She found the piece down in my shady bed over in the corner, laying in the grass. So, you know, I thought I looked there a million times, but she found it. So I am very grateful. It still works after being out for weeks in the rain and all kinds of stuff. So go DJI mics, they are built well. But anyway, my crepe myrtle is in full bloom right now and looking absolutely gorgeous. One of my favorite times of year when the crepe myrtles are all in bloom. I will take you up closer to see that, but lots and lots of summer color popping. My Mystic Spires blue salvia are finally putting on some growth and looking very beautiful. The pollinators have been finding it and have been all over it. I really hope that this overwinters for me this year. Last year it did, and it was gorgeous when it came back. It was so big. And right behind that, I have a little surprise. I put in these Desert Sun sunflowers, and they have grown really nicely, and I have one blooming. Look at that pretty bloom. I love that. I have 3 plants in here, and they are multi-branching, so I will get several blooms on each stem. And I have a rusty hollyhock right there that is looking pretty terrible, but is starting to bloom. Let's see if I can get closer. My only hollyhock that has survived the rabbits. Super pretty. I'm not sure if I'm gonna fiddle with hollyhocks again. They just get that rust, and the rabbits love them here at my house. But we'll see. I do love how they look when I can get them to grow. I have a patch of zinnias down here that are about ready to bloom. I was really late on starting zinnias and direct seeding zinnias. This is a very spotty patch right here. I really just could not keep on top of it this year with all that I've had going on, but I will be getting some blooms here soon, which I'm excited about. Love that kind of late season zinnia color that they provide when you are too late getting them in the ground. See, there's some buds about ready to pop right there. And right behind them, I had taken down my sweet peas on this trellis, and I planted these purple hyacinth bean vine. This one is pretty slow to take off. I'm hoping that eventually it'll just kind of go crazy, which these things can do. I have another one right here that has started to go a little crazy. I need to maybe train that to reach towards the obelisk and not towards my salvia, but that will eventually hopefully climb up my obelisk here and fill out my back wall, my trellises back there. That's what I did last year anyway, so fingers crossed. And another patch of salvia with some spotty zinnias in front, but looking really pretty now, just finally coming into its own. Really exploded. I'll tell you, when I was gone and came back from Costa Rica, I just could not believe how things grew. Like everything just looked so much bigger. I guess from all the heat and humidity and the rain. We've had a lot of rain this season. Have you guys had a lot of rain where you are? We have been in a drought so many summers recently that it feels weird to have rain, but we have had a lot. These are my limetta hydrangeas. These are beautiful, especially when they first came out in June. However, they do get floppy. You can see they're flopping all over my boxwood, and they do tend to brown out in the heat. So I have come in and cut a lot of these brown blooms off in hopes that they will put on a few new blooms for me. You can see right there is some new growth, and I have a little bit of new growth back in there. I'm not sure if they will bloom or not, but we'll see, fingers crossed. They are a beautiful hydrangea, but yes, they do get floppy and brown, unfortunately, but I'm still gonna leave them there. And then right in front of my crepe myrtle, I have these concoleus that are really coming into their own. They have been taken down several times by my dogs, so not as big as maybe they would be if they hadn't got mowed over, but just a beautiful coleus. A lot bigger of a leaf than some of the coleus. You can see my hand against that leaf. Really pretty color. Just really doing pretty well here. I think they might prefer a little more shade than they get, because they do get a little bit wilty in the afternoon sun, but overall they're hanging in there. They're holding on. And this is a Tonto crepe myrtle. Just a vibrant magenta pink. Super, super pretty. It's putting on more and more growth each year, and I think becoming sturdier each year, I'm hoping. Last year I did have problems with it kind of collapsing in the middle, I guess, with some of the heavy rain, and the branches, some of them broke off. So I'm hoping as it continues to get older that it becomes a little more sturdy too, but just a beautiful tree, and I just love the peeling bark on it. You can see that it's really showing off right now. Looking really pretty. Don't mind my milk jug back there. That is still left over from my winter sowing, believe it or not. It's an anemone that I grew from seed that I'm gonna just stick back in there because it gets a good amount of shade. This is another one of my limetta hydrangeas. You can see the brown on the flowers. The foliage still looks pretty decent though. It is getting some spotting on it, which is also kind of typical for this time of year with all of the humidity and rain, but it has put on some new buds, some new flower heads for me. Looking really pretty. And the Russian sage, always just a good old standby, always looking good. Bring you onto my patio. This is where the bright sun is. I do apologize, but I am so just really enjoying my red geraniums and clay pots. think that this might be something that I do every year. They do need fertilized. They're not doing the best. I've been pretty bad at fertilizing this year also, but I'll get to that this week as the temperatures are cooling down. I don't like to push the plants too much when it's this hot out. And my planters, I guess one update was that I had to take out my giant marigolds that were in this container down here. They got so huge and just were laying over my ageratum and my vinca here. You can see the stems there. So I am gonna look for something to replace those with, not until I get back from my son, from taking him to college. This begonia is doing amazing in this place, in this spot right here. It gets part sun, part shade, and just loves it. Putting on so much growth, and Creeping Jenny is starting to really come into its own as well. But I just really like this little grouping on the corner here. Heuchera. Debating on cutting back all these flowers right here. I've had them there for a while now, and I think that I may enjoy kind of a cleaner look without them now. And I'll show you, I made some changes over here to my little veggie patch. Veggies have not done super good for me this year. I don't know, I want to be a veggie grower, but I'm just not good at it. And I don't have the patience, it seems, for it. But I did have to take out 2 of my Roma tomatoes. They were just diseased and not doing good. And I do have a beef steak left that's still putting on some fruit that I'm gonna leave for a little bit longer. It's gotten absolutely huge. And a cucumber plant that's doing well. You can see that I have a nice big cucumber on the way and lots of baby cucumbers coming. So this is doing really well. And then in front, instead of planting more veggies in these containers, I actually put in some more Desert Sun sunflowers. So we'll see if I can get those to grow. And I have a little patch of carrots that seem to be doing fine. And my boxwood basil is doing pretty good. I did lose, I think it was half of this one. Yes, see right there. It started to die out on me when I was gone. I'm not sure why. These are looking a little bit yellow, so they probably could use some fertilizer, but I really like that little grouping there with the cracks. I hope that I'm showing them to you. I really can't see. And this is Oliver. I just had to stop my video because he was barking. You probably heard it. Oliver and Rosie, they, well, Oliver likes to make a lot of noise, which if you've watched my videos, you've heard him before. Those are our 2 rescue dogs, and we love them so much. But as I was saying, it's so bright out here, I really can't even see my screen, so I hope I'm showing you what I want to be showing you. But I really do like this little grouping here on this bench. I think that this little potting bench here just adds a little bit of character to this bare wall here that I really want to come up with something, find something to hang on that wall. Right now I have that star and a grouping of some of my watering cans right there, my galvanized watering cans. I have a couple of jalapeno plants right down here. Just kind of tucking things in wherever I can. An old metal bowl right there. And you will see this is with all of my cosmos, but they have gotten huge. I don't know that I've ever had cosmos these huge before. I'm 5'4", and these are at least as tall as me and maybe a little bit taller. Yeah, they're a little bit taller, but they are super pretty. This is the candy stripe variety. I had to go put the dogs inside. He won't stop barking, but as I was saying, this is the candy stripe variety of cosmos, super pretty. And I really like looking at them since they're so tall. I can see them from my window right there from my family room. And I just love looking out at my crepe myrtle and these cosmos. In fact, I should probably just go show you the view. I think it is so pretty. The lighting is not the greatest coming from inside here, but this is what I get to look out at. I just love looking at this crepe myrtle. The blooms just kind of cascade in front of my window here, and the sunflowers over there, and these cosmos. Sometimes you can see the blooms a little bit better than others if they're closer to the window, but so pretty. Just looking out at all of that just brings me so much joy. Another thing that is doing fabulous this year are these incredible sunflowers. This is a proven winner's sunflower. First year that I planted them, I just grabbed them on a whim at one of my trips to the greenhouses up in Lancaster, and my goodness, they are just amazing. They just keep going and going and going and getting bigger and bigger. They're swallowing out my bird bath back there, but that's okay. I do need to refill that, yikes, desperately. That is not good for the birds on this hot day. And I have this whole little hedge of basil. This is a basil that I planted from seed. Opal, I think it's the opal basil, purple opal basil. It is taking off and doing awesome this year. This one down here is putting on a bloom. I could pinch that off if I wanted to, really focus on the foliage still, or I can just let that go for the pollinators. They love the flowers on that basil. And I got a very late start to my zinnias. These are all raspberry ripple zinnias. They are an amazing flower, but I, did not start them soon enough. However, they are putting on some buds, and this one looks like it's about to bloom. And they do get a little more shade, I think, from the basil and things. I think that they're just not putting on quite as much growth as previous years, but that's okay. They'll add some late season color here along the border of my patio. Usually they would kind of spill out over my patio here. And this little bamboo fence is for my dogs, just to keep them from running right through this flower bed and, pretty much trampling down anything in their sight. So let's take a walk over here. I have some beautiful hydrangeas in bloom. Let's go see what they look like. We'll just take a little walk over here. I'll turn you around. Go by my crepe myrtle here. See what's going on in my main flower border over here. This is where I have planted 3D runk boxwoods. Oh, and there's that, I can't stand those little, I don't know what they are, but they scare me. They're like hornets or something, and it's crawling underneath my anemone. I can't show you, and I'm not going to try to get it out, but I do not like the looks of them at all. I'll show you. Maybe somebody can tell me what they are. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's coming after me, I feel like. Sorry, I didn't mean to make anyone dizzy, but I'll see if I can get a close up. I don't know if I should be scared of them or not. But anyway, here are some zinnias that I also grew from seed. These are a shorter variety that, I can't remember the name of them now, but I just planted them, direct seeded them, and I will probably move them around after I get back from dropping my son off. But I don't want to do any planting or moving right now when I'm not going to be home to really keep an eye on things. So just kind of holding off till the end of August. These are anemones starting to put on buds. This is a proven winner's Fall in Love Sweetly anemone that is gorgeous and really spreading out nicely. Back here is my Limelight Prime Hydrangea. Now the blooms are really beautiful on this, and it has super sturdy stems that are really dark, not much flapping. However, I really thought it was going to be taller than this year. It's not quite as tall as me, and it can get up to 6 feet tall. So I'm hoping that maybe over the years it gets a little bit taller. That was kind of my goal for it to, fill out this empty space right here in between my Rose of Sharon and boxwood. So we'll see. More super tall cosmos. This is all the candy stripe variety. This is taller than me. so very, very tall. Sorry, I cut my finger yesterday on my peeler, so I have a Band-Aid, but this is again the candy stripe variety. I did come in and deadhead these yesterday, but it's already showing some blooms that need deadheaded. My milkweed, I don't know that I've seen caterpillars on it, but I have seen some monarchs fluttering around, and I think I see, what is that? Is that aphids or something? I don't know, some kind of larva on the leaves. I don't think I want them there necessarily, but I'm just trying to be patient. I have seen 2 monarchs flying around. My phlox is about done. You can see how pretty it was. Put on some very beautiful blooms this year. And my baby Joe Pieweed is really taking off and looking good right now. I've seen quite a few bees on this. It is kind of stretching towards the front. This is the problem that I have. I have these Rose of Sharon that are just starting to bloom in the back. These are purple pillar Rose of Sharon. And the problem I have is they do tend to shade out the front here. They tend to shade out my perennials. So my perennials get a little bit floppy and kind of stretch and lean towards the front more than I'd like. But I guess it is what it is at this point. I'm not taking them out. I could keep them shorter, maybe keep them pruned a little bit shorter. This is Verbena bonariensis right here that I planted from seed. Looking really pretty, but very floppy. So I'm not sure if it's gonna work in this bed. I might try it out front where it gets a little bit more sun. I have some vinca that's trying to take off. I planted these late and they've been really slow to get going in the front here, just trying to fill in this space. Some herbs that are doing pretty well. I have some basil here that I could pluck off the flowers from, but I don't want that to go to seed quite yet. Some rosemary hiding back in here. Might try to use that for some like craft, like a candle or I don't know, something fun. I did some more purple basil right here that unfortunately got destroyed by rabbits or my dogs. I'm not really sure, but I don't know if it's gonna make it. And then I really just repeat a bunch of perennials down this border. I really think that repeating just really, it brings that continuity and kind of ties things together, but there are still, you know, some surprises tucked in here and there. In the front, my catmint is out of bloom. I did trim it back to see if it would rebloom for me at all, and the lady's mantle just looking pretty. I trimmed off the flowers so that the foliage was just left. One of my favorite perennials this year has been the agastache. Absolutely beautiful. Look at it next to my black-eyed Susans. So pretty, and the pollinators, the bees, go crazy for it, and I've seen some butterflies on it. Such a beautiful hardy perennial. I just love it. My black-eyed Susans I've talked about are extremely floppy this year, so I'm going to be on the lookout for a sturdier version. I'm really wanting to find the Deems coneflower. The Rudbeckia D. amii is supposed to be a sturdier Rudbeckia, so if I can get my hands on that, I will try. And some beautiful powwow wildberry coneflower right here, still looking good. I do have these sprinkled all throughout, but they have been shaded out by a lot of my other perennials and just are not growing very good in a lot of the spaces. So I really need to do some thinning out of my perennials and some moving around in the fall so that things can really, you know, shine. This is a little lime hydrangea right behind this Verbena bonariensis right here. Looking beautiful. Not flopping too much yet, so hoping that it stays that way. My lamb's ear is doing really well right now. This is the Helen von Stein Big Ears lamb's ear. It's enjoying the kind of drier. We have had a lot of rain, but it's been dry for, I don't know, maybe a week. So it's doing well without all the rain. It doesn't like too much rain. And then another purple basil that's looking really nice. And this verbena is doing well. I have everything staked so that it's not flopping too much. Another patch of black-eyed Susans, and just kind of my repetitive pattern of perennials right here. This patch of agastache has exploded and is always covered by bees. And I do have a bee balm back there, Jacob's Klein bee balm. I had one on the other side too, but I had cut that one back. This one is just about done. The hummingbirds have loved it though. But sadly, I haven't seen a lot of hummingbirds recently. I'm not sure why. I'm really missing them. Not on my feeders or my containers or anything. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. I don't know if there's a Rose of Sharon bloom. Let's see if I can find one for you. They're just starting to bloom. They bloom very late for me. Really the end of July into August. So I guess they're good for, you know, that late season color. Way up there. I can barely reach it if you can see it. But pretty soon these will be covered in blooms. And the hummingbirds do love these Rose of Sharon blooms, as well as all of the bees and butterflies. So I'm hoping that that really boosts the just, you know, population of pollinators in my garden. Another giant patch of cosmos. Super pretty. This is a flower that my daughter picked out this year. So I could just kind of have them sprinkled, you know, all over. And this is doing very well this year. My wee white hydrangeas. And they're not getting as brown as they have in the past, I think because they get a little more shade from all of the surrounding trees this year as the trees all continue to grow. So that really protects them, keeps them from browning out too much. And just a little patch of caramel heuchera down here looking great. And I had a big patch of foxglove that I'm hoping are spreading their seeds for next year, so I can just continue to grow lots and lots of foxglove in this border. And this is my Twombly's Red Sentinel Japanese Maple, looking really nice. That'll start putting on a really bright chrismum, is that how you say it? Chrisman? I don't know, I'm saying it wrong. A really vibrant red here in the fall. And it comes out a vibrant red as well. So no hummingbirds or butterflies to show you this morning. It's kind of a disappointment, but maybe we'll still catch some over in the front yard. Let's just swing around and take a look, walk past my wicker chairs here, and we're just gonna go and see what's going on over in my shadier corner down here. So not a whole lot of changes in the shade bed since I think we last toured this area. I just have some impatiens sprinkled throughout. Just a flat this year. There have been other years where I've covered this area in impatiens and given them some slow release fertilizer, and they've looked beautiful, but I don't want to keep adding slow release fertilizer into my soil. I think that it's best to build it organically with compost and just things that'll really feed the soil and nourish it naturally and organically. I think it's best. So I just kind of use them sparingly. This is a camellia back there looking great. And my hosta are showing, you know, everything's showing signs of mid to late summer damage with bugs. You can see the holes in the leaves. My not purple palace, this is the wild berry heuchera, looking beautiful. And yeah, I haven't seen too many hummingbirds on my feeders, which is very disappointing to me. Have you guys been seeing a lot of hummingbirds in your gardens? I'm not sure, you know, what's going on, but I think that these impatiens might need a little bit of water. Good thing it's gonna rain, so I don't have to get out my sprinkler. You'll see lots of weeds, just keeping it real. Right behind is my Annabelle hydrangea hedge that I talked about before that flopped over from some of the heavy rains that we had and never popped back up. And you know what? I just left them. I haven't had time to fiddle with them. So that is what it is. I did put stakes in front of them earlier in the season, but it just wasn't quite enough to hold them up. So we're just gonna live with them for now, and that's okay. I think they still look pretty, even though they're not standing up straight. And I have patches of this hot conocloa grass in front of them that's, you know, being shaded out by the hydrangeas, but I do have that kind of sprinkled all throughout in front here. Next year, I'm gonna have to just come up with a staking method for these to see what I can do. More impatiens, and I think my clematis is about out of bloom at this point. This is the pink mint clematis. Still a few blooms left. I had one on the other obelisk over there too, but it gets more shade, so it doesn't bloom quite as profusely. One thing that I am really loving is my Sun King Aurelia. This I just put in this year. It is doing beautifully. And in front of that, I have some Sprite Astilbe that did not bloom this year. I just put these in as well. These were something I got from work. I did work at a perennial plant farm, but since right before vacation, I no longer work there. It was a little too labor intensive for me. So I decided to put in my notice right before vacation. Unfortunately, I did get some amazing plants and just really enjoyed being around all of the different plants and learning about different plants that I hadn't maybe known about before. But right now I am not working anywhere. However, that might change. These are some foxglove that have gone to seed. I don't know if you'll be able to hear with my mic, but these little seed pods are covered in, they're filled with seed, if you can see some of the seed on my fingers. So I could come in and collect the seed and grow some in a container, or just let them drop their seeds naturally and hope for the best for next year. I've got just a bunch of different things in here. I still have some bleeding hearts that have not died back yet. This is the gold bleeding heart that really has pretty foliage. My columbine are pretty much done, getting crispier by the day. They usually tend to die out as the summer goes on and it's, you know, super hot. Some more wildberry heuchera and dog ball. And some lamium that is being nibbled on by rabbits, as well as peed on by dogs. And some of it has died out completely. Some of that's just out of my control. And look, this says rabbit damage here. The blooms on this wee hosta right here. Oh, it's also nibbling on the leaves. But I do really like these blooms on this wee hosta. They're very delicate and pretty, and they stand up straight. They don't flop over. I think that's really pretty. Some more Patriot hosta, and that was the bleeding heart back there. Some foxglove. These are Brilliance autumn ferns that are beautiful. They have this autumny color to them all season long. They put out, the new growth puts out those kind of bronze fronds and just look beautiful. And I'm gonna see if I can take you back to show you my hosta up close a little bit. Oh, and this is my favorite. This is the autumn frost hosta that I just put in this year, so I'm really excited to see how these do and grow. I love how that color pops in front of all this green. Take you in the back here. I planted these viburnum, sweet talker viburnum back here that are kind of hedged. This one, unfortunately, is being shaded out by my hosta, so I needed to remedy that, but these will eventually create a hedge in the corner here, kind of shielding us from the circle over there. And these are just a bunch of different hosta. I have a big stick right here. This is a serviceberry that I have my hosta growing under. And this is an elegans hosta that is doing really well, just huge. I have a wiggles and squiggles hosta right there. Everything is really crowding each other out and is probably going to need divided this next year. I have an anemone right here, September charm anemone that will put on blooms in the fall. I do have this blue hosta, however, blue halcyon. When it gets so hot, the waxy coating burns off of the leaves, and then it reveals the green leaf underneath. So I guess it's the waxy coating that really creates the blue look to the hostas. And this is a Wilala hosta right here that is beautiful and huge. You can see with my hand there how big that leaf is. It's gorgeous. And then really just a repetition of my hostas over there. I had a Casablanca lily back there blooming earlier. And that's pretty much it for this shady bed. Let's take a walk over and I will show you my entryway to this other side yard by my hollies. I have to take you up here on my little walkway and just give a quick update. This smoke bush is looking really good and doing well. I did trim it down. It was super tall, but I'm trying to keep it on the shorter side right here in front of my hose link and by my hollies. I have some sweet potatoes growing right here that are getting nibbled by the rabbits super badly. I don't know if that's going to affect their growth or not, but they love the vines of the sweet potato. And then I'm trying to build out a ground cover for my walkway right here, but it just keeps dying. I have some thyme that I added and I just cannot seem to get it to spread. This patch is looking the best. I have a woolly thyme and a pink chintz thyme. And I planted these 3 Everillo carex grasses right here that are doing really well. I love these grasses. I think they're so pretty. I have another patch out by my redbud out front that I'll show you. And then this little area has really been fun to watch grow. I'm just going to flip you around real quick. You can see my sun patience are taking off. I love them. Definitely getting crowded out by the left hydrangea there, but still really looking beautiful. I love when they just start to really fill out and spill over into the lawn. These are incredible hydrangeas that are doing really nicely. You can see, oh my goodness, the bloom heads are massive. Here's my hand. Some of them are like way bigger than my hand. It's just crazy how big the blooms are, but super beautiful. Over here, I just love this combination right here with, this is a blue, creeping blue star juniper right here that will get bigger. I just put that in this year against this purple loropetalum and the hydrangea and my sun patience. I think just make for a beautiful combination. I'll show you more out here in the side yard after I'm done bringing you right through here, through my gate. And this has kind of been my dumping bed, but I think it's coming together really nicely. I have 3 hollies here that provide just a nice privacy for the deck. And we have a hot tub over there, so you really can't even see the hot tub. When you're in it, it just provides complete privacy. These are some more sunflowers I grew from seed. This is Procut Red that will probably bloom soon. These will just give me a single bloom. And Sensation Honeysuckle has outgrown this trellis, but it is reblooming. You can see the blooms. Super pretty. This was just covered in blooms in the springtime. Just a gorgeous honeysuckle, but I may have to move it to really let it do its thing. These are some autumn sedum, not autumn brilliance, autumn joy sedum, just too many names to remember. These were propagated from over by my air conditioner. Absolutely beautiful. I love this sedum. I think it's so pretty. I know it's the old standby, but I just think it's gorgeous. And if you cut it kind of early, like late spring, early summer, it can really help it to not flop. Now I did not trim this one back, but I did trim back my other sedum to get more to propagate. And I will show you that. Oh, this Oh So Easy red rose is looking beautiful right now. Really putting on its second flush. I did trim that back, all the dead back, which really helped it. I have some lavender that I trimmed back that is looking like it's starting to try to put on some more blooms. This ageratum has begun to explode and looks so pretty. These are more profusion zinnias that I grew from seed. This is the orange profusion. I think it's the double flower one. I forget the name of that. But again, got a late start, just starting to flower. These were American Gold Rush rudbeckia that the rabbits have completely destroyed. I do see some blooms starting to try to come out right there. I'll show you up on my mailbox. I have gorgeous ones blooming out there. This coneflower is flopping over. I think this is the powwow white coneflower. You can see the rabbits have cleared off the bottoms of the stems and just kind of done a number on these, but they're kind of at the end. This was Summer Song Firefinch coneflower right here. It was a beautiful, vibrant, kind of reddish orange color, and it fades to this almost pinkish orange color. And these were powwow wildberry. Again, kind of at the end. I have a bee balm that's out of bloom and some more ageratum. I'm just gonna back up and show you over here. Walk backwards and shut the gate behind me. This ageratum I grew from seed. It is the Blue Horizon ageratum. It's a tall variety. It is just exploded and looking beautiful on this side in front of this viburnum. I have some zinnias mixed in here that are about to all bloom, and I have some cosmos, some apricota cosmos that I think I will eventually get blooms from. Again, late start to things. Some of the shorter ageratum actually reseeded itself from last year. Ageratum is actually a quite prolific reseeder for me in my garden. And look at the blooms about ready to burst. I will show you my prize patch of zinnias out front, my only patch that I got going from seed early enough and is looking fantastic. This is a Benary's giant zinnia. Look how pretty that is. My only bloom here so far. But yeah, I think that this is beautiful with the ageratum and the zinnias that are on the way and the cosmos. I do have some butterfly weed in there that probably will not bloom this year. But I think that this will be beautiful late season, really offer some late season color. And super pleased with this side too. So let's go take a walk out front, see what's going on. So this year we added in these front beds, the front bed to my right. And I'm working on this side bed also. These things were here, the Weigela right there was here. The loropetalum, that one was here. And then that one by the porch we added a few years ago. I did plant some denim and lace Russian sage in front of this Weigela, which is absolutely doing great. Some of this is first year Russian sage, just a great plant for no fuss. It doesn't mind drought, doesn't mind the heat. Looks great against the dark foliage plants. See that combination and how it just really pops. I think it's beautiful. I put in these junipers, these blue creeping star junipers that I probably should have watered this. I hope it's doing okay, but it's getting a little bit browned out from all the heat that we've had. Another gorgeous patch of anemone right here. This is more of the Fall in Love Sweetly Anemone by Proven Winners. You can see some of the flowers starting to pop out right down in there. Beautiful, beautiful patch. And my incredible hydrangeas around this Jane Magnolia are looking great. I love how they look. Don't mind my hose. Trying to water the porch right there. I love how they look by the porch here. And so this is the main bed that we put in this year that is definitely a work in progress, but some of the things blooming are beautiful. I have some seed dahlias here that unfortunately I lost a bunch on this side while I was traveling. I'm not sure what happened, if it was a water issue or what, but I do have some that are blooming beautifully. Okay, my phone died on me because it is so hot out here. It told me that it was just too hot and it needed to go in for a cool down. So hopefully I can get through this without it dying again or my phone battery dying. And the clouds are moving in, so that's nice that we don't have quite so much sun. I'm dripping in sweat, but I'm going to just take you around this bed. This, again, is something we added in this year. And I've mainly been working on the border along our yard right here, and I will probably do kind of a repetitive pattern over here on my neighbor's side. But I just wanted to start on our side and then kind of move things around and divide things as I go. This is a Gara. This is the Sissy Q, I think is how you say it, Gara, that I really have been enjoying. It's kind of not blooming as much as it was, but it has these really wispy blooms that kind of come and go very quickly. And as the season's gone on and it's gotten a little bit hotter, I think they've waned a little bit, but the pollinators do love this. Let's see if I can find a good flower right there. I've seen a lot of pollinators all over it. I did add some boxwood all throughout for kind of some evergreen structure and interest. And my favorite lamb's ear, Helen Bonstein lamb's ear, along the front border here. It's exploded in growth. I have this salvia. This is the rose marble salvia that I will be moving to be like part of my groupings. So I just stuck this here because I picked this up from where I had worked at. I picked up a bunch and just wanted to get it in the ground just to get it started. I did not know exactly what I wanted to do with it when I first got it. This is Blue Fortune agastache. So the agastache that I have out over at my main flower border is the straight native species. This is a slight hybrid. So the pollinators love it. They have been all over it all season. And from my understanding, it doesn't spread quite as prolific as the straight native species. So I'm kind of excited to see how that does for me. My screen keeps going black. I think it's trying to save energy, my phone. These are some more limelight prime hydrangeas that I put here that are in their prime right now. I didn't want something that would get too big, and these stay a little bit smaller than the standard limelights. So those will be beautiful as they continue to grow. They're kind of like the centerpiece of this bed. And then here I have some gorgeous perennials that are blooming. This is a Kismet, I think that's how you say it, Kismet orange coneflower. Look at how vibrant that is. And there's a bee down there on that flower. I think these are gorgeous. I put some daisies in right here and some more agastache, and just stuck some rose marble salvia. But again, this will be like similar to my main flower border where I really do some repetitive groupings of perennials. These are another beautiful coneflower. This is the Baja Red coneflower right here. And these are powwow pinks that I grew from seed that are not yet, growing to their fullest. They won't bloom this year, maybe next year. And then down here, the bed is, it's kind of oddly shaped because of, it's like this corner bed we made kind of a part of our side yard. So it's a little bit weird to work with, but again, I'm hoping to group the perennials all in front here and just do this repetitive grouping all the way down the border here along with the backside, my neighbor's part. I want to try to keep things nice and tidy so that, you know, stuff doesn't flop over too much on my neighbor's side. These are something I'm really excited about. These are Heliopsis. These are burning or bleeding hearts, Heliopsis. They're gonna put on these beautiful orange flowers, and they have these really kind of dark purpley stems, almost purple foliage. I'm very excited to see those grow. And then I did put in some grasses. So these are Carl Forester grasses that stay on the smaller side. They may be like 2 feet wide and 4 feet tall. I'm really looking forward to seeing those grow and just bringing that kind of wispy, flowy nature to this bed. I think will be really nice. And this is the whole reason why we did this bed. The electric boxes that will be, you know, shielded more and more as things grow. And down here I have some boxwood. I have this gold splash euonymus that the rabbits have taken care of. But they kind of provide some nice gold evergreen interest in the front here. These are some of the catmint, the cat's pajamas catmint that I added all along the front of the sidewalk. Some more euonymus, more catmint, and again, this is a work in progress, so I will be filling in the empty spaces as we go. But overall, I'm super happy with how this is looking so far. Oh, and this rose. This is a pink knockout rose. Looking very pretty. And then we'll take a walk. Let's see, you can see from a distance my front porch. Serviceberry, don't mind my cars. I probably should have moved them before this video, but we're in a neighborhood and there's just not a good place to put them. This is neighborhood gardening. These are my rudbeckia. This is the American Gold Rush rudbeckia that I was showing you that the rabbits ate by my hollies. Look at how gorgeous these are. I love them. They are this really beautiful compact rudbeckia that stays on the shorter side. So beautiful. And some verbena right here. I don't know if this one will come back for me or not, but really pretty. More rudbeckia. And I'm gonna swing around and show you my glorious zinnia patch right here. Right in front, I also planted these cat's pajamas nepeta. And then this is a shorter variety that I cannot remember the name of, but they are doing beautifully. This has been such a fun patch of zinnias to look at coming home every day. Oh my goodness, I love them. They don't have as many colors as I thought they would have. There's no red, and I guess there is some orange and yellow, but it's missing red. But oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. The bees love them. I love them. This is what I wish that all of my zinnias looked like right now, but I guess it's good to stagger them maybe in the back. I'll have more to show later on in the season when these aren't looking as good, but look at the bees. The bees love them because they're open center and they can get to that pollen really easily. Oh, so beautiful. And right behind them, while they're putting on growth, I just kind of have them hiding. I have some spirea. This is a double play doozy spirea that will get bright pink flowers on them. I think I see one blooming right down here. And they will get about 2 to 3 feet wide and tall. There we go. So I don't know if I always use these tall zinnias right here. They might get a little too big for once the spirea start growing, but I will do some kind of zinnia in here. I'll walk you up here to my front porch where I have these gorgeous sun patience growing. I had planted the sweet woodruff in here down by my hosta. Ooh, I see a giant weed, lots of weeds to be pulled. There we go. This is sweet woodruff right here that does really well in shade. And I'm hoping that it kind of takes over this area right here. I really like my beds to be covered and use as little mulch as possible. This is the purple Palasucra that are looking pretty good. This is what I have in my container out back. They definitely need to put on some growth, but they are doing pretty good. Some more blue star creeping juniper and beautiful sun patience looking gorgeous right now, really coming into their own in front of my boxwood. I have some Nandina back there and just looking beautiful. Well, we are almost to the end. Thank you so much for sticking with me if you're still here. This is a full garden tour because I don't know when I'll be able to do a garden tour next with all the festivities of moving into college and stuff. So I'm giving it all to you today. Some very sweet geraniums. This is the Roseanne geranium growing along my walkway here at the side of our house. And this is the other patch of Everillo Carex that I was telling you about that is beautiful. Love how that looks right here. I love this color combo with the red. This is like the perfect color combo back in here. The red, the greens, the gold, and the blue spruce. Oh, just pretend you don't see that Home Depot bucket. This Coreopsis, gorgeous. I'm excited to see how this begins to really take off. And this geranium, I'm also excited to see how that does. This is a Bevan's geranium that will get bright pink flowers in the spring. These are some more boxwood. I love to use boxwood all throughout the gardens just to bring some continuity and evergreen structure. Another Incredible is doing great. And looking down this way, we'll see into my side yard. This is kind of my main side yard. These are more Oh So Easy red roses that I have over by my holly. Really looking pretty, and these are coming into their own. This is the Serendipity allium. These will be covered in bees and maybe butterflies in probably a week. You can see a little bee on there, but they love this plant. Another good one to divide. I may divide this and move it around to my front beds. These are Indian Summer Rudbeckia that came back from last year that I was actually surprised they came back because they're a little bit marginal. They can self-seed, but I really think they came back from the straight plant that I planted last year. Beautiful flower. They are needing to be deadheaded, but gorgeous, huge flower. These will be an idea to try in my main flower bed. They just don't attract the pollinators as well as the Deems co-flower that I'm wanting to look into. I have some daisies in front of my holly here that will grow. This holly will grow about 6 to 8 feet tall, I believe. But these daisies are done, and some more coneflower hiding and flopping behind that hose link. And here's some more zinnia that I grew from seed, just kind of plopping things in the ground where I had room for things that I had grown from seed. This is my mother patch, I guess you could say, of Autumn Joy sedum in front of the AC here that I'm using to propagate new plants so that I can have these all over my gardens as well. Really bring that repetition, and the pollinators adore them in the late season. They just love them. And in front of my rhododendron, I have this patch of more sun patience. I really do enjoy adding these sun patience in all around the front and on the sides here. I think they just add some really nice all season color. Phew, here we are at the end of my late July garden tour. Wow, that was a long one. If you are here still, thank you so much for watching my video and just coming along on the journey with me of my gardens. I am sweating so much. You can probably see the sweat on my shirt. It is super hot. I am really looking forward to that rain later today and the fact that I don't have to water today. That is always a good day. I hope that you all are doing great, that you are still maybe managing to get into your gardens even despite the heat. Let me know what you've been up to, what's going good and not so good, how things are going in life. I really enjoy hearing from you. I'm not sure the next time that I'll be able to post a video. Like I said, my son is moving into college, and hopefully after that I'll be able to get a little more consistent and frequent with my videos after we have him all settled in. So I hope to see you fairly soon. Until then, take care, and I will talk to you later. All right, bye.